On today's episode of Let Me Do This Shit Before I Go to Work, because it seems like this is always doing this before I go to work. This TikToker, I don't really, how can I say this? She says some things, but I think it comes from a bitter place. I don't always agree with her, but some of the stuff would be like, from the base point, you kind of like, yeah, but you can also hear the bitterness in her voice to where it's just like, it's like, it comes from a bitter place. You know what I'm talking about when I talk about this. This one is about pick-me's. This is one of the few times I do agree with her, but I still think it comes from a bitter place. I could be wrong, but let's look into the video.
I have a question. Fellas, why aren't you picking the pick-me's?
There are women out there who are willing to let men cheat on them. They're willing to pay all the bills while you sit at home and play video games all day, driving their car, dropping them off back and forth to work, break babies, cheating on them incessantly, all of that. There are women out there who are willing to do all of that for the sake of having a man. Those women are classified as pick-me's. The reason why I think that men don't pick women like that is because desperation on a woman is very unattractive, and men are not attracted to women who make it that easy. If he barely did anything, but he gets everything from her, that's not cute. He doesn't want that. Men only appreciate what they've had to work hard for and what they've had to earn. And when women don't make them earn anything, they don't respect it and they don't respect you. As much as men jump on this app every day and complain about women's standards, truthfully, when they're looking for a wife or somebody to settle down with, they want a woman with some standards.
Now, again, this one is not coming from a bitter spot. So I'm not even going to say that the woman comes off as bitter. One of the few times I actually agree with her, but I also feel like she's missing something. And this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, fellas. If you agree with me, you can. But if you don't, no. My opinion is some you pick-me's are not good women. But I'm talking about the pick-me's that she explained. The people that let their man get on the couch and you work hard, because the homosexuals that you just get a man just to have a man, but you let him treat you like shit. Though you're not good. I'll tell people all this. That doesn't make you a good woman. That makes you a doormat. And I don't want a doormat. And this is where I'm speaking for myself. I don't want a doormat. Some of the women that you see them argue with, they're not doormats. But again, some of them, they do be overly feminized, but we want a woman that's going to help us elevate. If you let us get away with bullshit, then you're not to me, you're not a good woman. If you just let them do stuff, there's a balance. I tell people all the time, there's a balance. Which is why I tell people I want you to know when to be my cheerleader and when to be my head coach. Because not all my ideas are great ideas. And I need you to sit down with me and go, baby, that's not a good idea. My ego may take a hit for it, but at least I know you're there for me. If you just let me do whatever the fuck I want, then I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, which means infidelity and cheating on you. And if you allow that, it's just like, I don't see much respect coming from you because you're a walking doormat. Now, usually when y'all get out those relationships, y'all kind of like wise up, but at the same time, you're damaged goods. So the next man is just like, damn, you let this nigga do all that shit. And then sometimes you gotta do attract the same man to where it's just like, damn, you let this nigga do all this shit, but you're not gonna let me do all this shit. And it's just like, damn, I can't do much with her. So it's very weird to me, but it's one of those answers where it's just like, that doesn't make you a good woman. A lot of people feel like, oh, men just want to do everything. No, we don't. We just want to know when we lead, you don't have to question every motive. Now, there's stuff that we do bring by our women that is just like, I feel like, what do you think? And then we ask you for your opinion. And it's just like, maybe it's not good. Or you could say, you know what, that sounds good, but I feel like instead of doing this, you can do that, improve on the plan. I feel like the best, like I said, the best relationship is where, okay, I can see your ideal, and then let's just work on it a little bit. It's a little bit raw. Let's just work on it. Let's develop it a little bit before you go out and do stuff, because I feel like if you do this, it's not going to work. That's where cheerleading, and this is what I mean by saying cheerleading and the head coach. You're working with the plan. I'm gonna let you lead, because here's the thing about the head coach thing. Like, the star player is going to still do the star player things, but sometimes me as a head coach, I may see things that you don't see. So I'm gonna bring you in. It's just like, hey, he's doing this. You need to watch that. He's like, every time he's getting by, you're doing that to watch that. And this is why, like, a lot of men don't like dating women that are, I don't want to say successful, because sometimes y'all don't like listening to men, especially if you make more than a man, but he sees something that's just like, do you really need that? I don't think you really need that. And then you kind of like to shut him down. Just shut up, Berkey. And it's like, I'm the one making the money. Okay, not gonna respect my opinion. This is why a lot of men don't. That's a lot. That's the reason why a lot of men, in my opinion, don't date women that are more successful. It's not that because you're intimidated by them. It's because you're not going to listen to me because you make more money than me. And just because you make more money than me doesn't make you smarter than me. Sometimes, and that's where you women's ego come from, because it's. Here's the thing about the funny thing is, here's the thing about quote unquote pick-me's. Pick-me's usually do get picked. Now, what level of pick-me you want? Are you? It's just that do you really want to? Especially if you're really desperate to find a man, that means you'll settle for anything, and we could see that. I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna end this because, like, there's a strip club that I frequent to all the time, and it's this one girl. I think she's either Somalian or Egyptian. She's like black, but you could tell like she has some strong East African features, right? At the strip club, real pretty girl. I don't think she need to be there, but she's a real pretty girl. She gives a nice lap dance, but every time she see me, she beelines to me. And I mean beelines up to me. And again, sweet girl, but it's the desperation of, I'm trying to get this money off you. And I can feel that. I can really feel that. Whereas there's other strippers in there that I've seen. They know that, when I'm there, they say, just holler at me. But this one is just like, she'll beeline. And then she's like, would you like a dance? Would you like a dance? Would you like a dance? And you can feel the desperation, because I don't know if she was making money that night. I'm not saying she don't. She's pretty. But, sometimes even pretty girls don't make money frequently, on occasion. But you can feel the desperation on it, and it turns me off sometimes, to where it's just like, I don't shoo her away, but I go, I'm good, thank you. And like, she'll ask me throughout the whole night, and it's just like, I'm good, thank you. And it's the desperation. It's funny because I can see her getting other dances, but she'll still beeline to me. And it's just like, yo, I feel like you gotta let this shit happen naturally. Like, let me want you. But it's something about that desperation. It's just like, it's a turn on. Now, don't get me wrong. The women go in there, they'll ask everybody for a dance, but they're like, it's like a rotation. They'll get to you when you get to you. But if you go grab them, you go grab them. But other than that, it's just that you could feel the desperation in her when she like I can see her from across. She'll see me from across the room and will beeline to me. And sometimes I'm just like, you cute, but that shit is just like, but you desperate. I don't know what it is, because I tip well, and I get it, but at the same time, it's just like, yo, let this shit happen naturally. Let a man want you. Let a man pursue you, like give them something to look at, and like just be cool with it. But it's just like, you want to dance? You want to dance? Are you ready for the dance now? Are you ready for the dance now? And it's just like, yo, calm down. And I feel like that's probably the closest example I can get. But yeah, in conclusion, it's just like, just because you let a man do all this stuff doesn't make you a good woman. It makes you a doormat. And although men don't want, these overly feminist women that with masculine behavior, we don't want a doormat either. Like, this isn't Coming to America. This isn't Whatever You Like. Some people, we do respect a woman with a personality and opinion, but if you kind of breed desperation, it kind of like turns us off. It doesn't matter how cute you are. We may smash, but also, I don't need all that. It's just one of, maybe it's just me. I don't know, but anybody else, you're free to comment. Let me know. Till then, my name is Skin of Flying on my piece.